When it comes to writing, I always thought I was more of a plotter, but it turns out I actually might be more of a pantser. So I've been going through this week and doing the Night Owl Nation assignment where this whole month we're writing an About Me page for a website. And I made a video on this previously where really the goal of an About Me page is showing why somebody should buy from you. Sales page, why should I buy this item, this service, this offer? About Me page, why should I buy that from you? I just learned that. But going through this, most of the time when I'm writing, very much planned out. I want to have an idea of a structure of where I want to take this, where I'm starting from, and what that progression is going to look like pretty much all the way through. Like, what are each one of these steps going to be? And this week I've been going through because I didn't like the way even though I'm a shitty first draft type of person, like get it all down on paper, didn't quite like how it went. So I was going back to the drawing board, trying to elaborate on my story a little bit more first, get more of a structure in place, and it was just not clicking. No matter what I was doing, the A to B transformation just wasn't really making sense. The internal transformation really just wasn't making sense. And when I kind of had an idea, I was like, but what about this? Or today, I was like, forget all of this. We're just gonna pants this. And just in case, because Courtney, my girlfriend, had a complete mind-blown moment when I said pantsing the first time. Pantsing is like going through and writing your story versus a plotter or somebody that goes through and actually adds the structure first, plans out everything. So like a planner versus somebody that just jumps into it. Generally, I'm more of a planner. But since planning wasn't working, I just went through, wrote really shitty draft, and have way more clarity now of where I'm trying to take this story, because it's a story about me. It's an About Me page, but it's really the structure of it is looking at your greatest weakness and how it's actually a huge strength for you. So I had some ideas about how often I've quit things, just kind of jumped in, jumped out, on and off type of person. Also how I can be a little bit stubborn sometimes, but then how that's actually one of my biggest strengths. And so like a transformation into obsession, into being very passionate about a few things and going very deep on those. And that's what I found. But just getting this into words is wasn't quite working. But this first draft, or this new first draft, so I guess it's like a second or third draft at this point, just with how much writing and plotting I've done, these are starting to come together. So I'm excited for that. But it's cool because part of this assignment too is there's a whole rewriting structure, because this is something that I didn't do in the past, is have an actual rewriting structure. It'd just be I write my first draft, just going through editing as I went, and it was a hot mess. Like then I feel like my writing was the worst, or the biggest shift that I made that helped my writing was just write shitty first drafts, but put 80% of my time just editing. Like that's where the magic happens. Oh my god. I was like somebody though that was just thought editing was a waste of time, so I pretty much just put more time into the first draft and then almost edit nothing. I'm the complete opposite. It works way better, I'm telling you. Give it a try. But he breaks down, Sunny, who started the Night Owl course, he breaks down an 8-step rewriting process. So the first rewrite is writing the lesson of the story in one sentence. That's your ending. And like pretending it's more like a tweet. So that way you have a very clear where you're taking this story, what's the takeaway, have it at the end, and it really kind of guides the rest of your writing. So I actually need to do this rewrite still. The second rewrite, rewrite every sentence using absolute minimum number of words possible. So just get straight to the point. Something that actually helped me amazingly with this is the Hemingway app. It's just put your stuff in there and it'll show you where your most complicated sentences are. I did this for 6 months or so, very consistently, and now I notice I write way more simply just right off the bat, because you'd see each sentence that was more complicated, and now I write at a third grade level, sometimes if I'm lucky a second grade level, right off the bat, no rewrites needed. Now I'm still gonna go through and do the rewrites, obviously, like always get better, but it's crazy. That Hemingway app, I'll check it out. The third is replace every word with the simplest version of that word. Very much right along the lines of the Hemingway app as well. That'll help you do that same thing. Fourth rewrite. Are these all complete rewrites? I'm thinking about it. It's a lot of rewrites, but actually thinking further on it is that as probably just the scratching the surface of how many rewrites I end up doing, especially if I'm like landing page or something that I'm gonna be pushing out. I rewrite and rewrite and rewrite that just over and over again until it's just crisp. So fourth rewrite, order the sentences so each paragraph serves a purpose. The way I do love doing this is the chain of beliefs. And so that is where I like the whole plotting structure more than pantsing, is you could structure all your chains of belief of where you want to take somebody and what they need to believe every step along the way. And that is a super powerful writing process. I don't know how that would work necessarily for an about me page like this, but I feel like at the same time, you're just going to be identifying beliefs and then structuring it. So I imagine it actually worked very well. So it'd be interesting to write one like this pantsing style and then write one in these chain of belief style. Not that they can't intermingle a little bit, but that'd be an interesting test next. Rewrite 5. We're halfway there. Order the paragraphs in a way it'll slowly reveal the lesson of the audience. That's a huge part for tension, because if you tell somebody what the lesson is in the first sentence, you don't necessarily have a whole lot of tension there. Whereas if the first area, like you set the story, you frame it, then you start creating some open loops. That's a powerful process I learned from the modern marketing system. Creating some open loops so people don't have that tension fully resolved and it's pulling them forward. There's these ideas like, or to say number 8 is a super powerful tip, and we're going to get to that. But let's finish number 5 first. I just created an open loop that is leading you towards number 8. That's what that is. But if you can do that, build that early on in the writing process, like I like, because that's how you can pull attention forward rather than trying to push somebody through a sales process. Especially when we're talking more in the context of selling. Okay. Insert your anchor word, phrase, anywhere you can. And yeah, I like that idea. I try and do that a lot in writing. I think so far, the word obsession. I think it's very fresh on my mind doing the pr30 and being very involved in Zach's world right now. Obsession has been popping up so far in the story I've written. Momentum a little bit, magic a little bit, experience a little bit. Like those are a couple words that I could see anchoring all this around, but it needs to go through some more iterations first and before I get anywhere close to figuring out what that true anchor word is. 7, read your story out loud and see where you get stuck, rewrite that part, then repeat. And that makes sure that your story moves through all the way very smoothly, because especially if you're saying it out loud and time when people are reading something like this, they're not giving it its full attention. So being able to, somebody's pulling up behind, being able to make sure it's super smooth all the way through and there's no sticking points, just going to create better readability and more likelihood that you actually achieve the objective you're going for. Oh, and finally, the tip number 8 is check readability with the Hemingway app and aim for grade 7 or below. I already mentioned the Hemingway app. Me and son, same wavelength. But yeah, I actually use it a little bit earlier in the writing process. Maybe it'd be a good idea to save it and just follow this to a T, especially giving this a chance. But we'll be doing a lot of rewrites though. So I have a feeling I'll be going through it more than 8 times. It's just each time I go through it, it just gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And that's really where the magic happens. So I will see you on the other side of all this rewriting.